women rock the world. Women, women, women rock the world. We cradle babies, run a business.
Welcome to the virtual 2021 Women's and Girls Day at the Legislature and the Women's History Month kickoff celebration. Normally we hold these events each year at the West Virginia Capitol Complex, where up to 150 women and girls get to see the legislature in session, meet with legislators, hear from special guest speakers, and enhance their knowledge with program activities. Due to the current situation with the pandemic, we are combining these events and presenting them virtually this year. Not only will more people in West Virginia get to view this presentation, but our hope is that your virtual experience today is as exciting and educational as it would be if you were here in person. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice has shown his support for today's events by proclaiming March 1st, 2021 as Women and Girls Day at the Legislature and the month of March as Women's History Month. One passage of the proclamation reads, West Virginia Women's Commission, in partnership with the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs, celebrates West Virginia Women's History Month each March by recognizing women of every age, race, class, and ethnic background who make historic contributions to the growth and strength of our state in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Served as early leaders in the forefront of every major social change movement to create a more fair and just society for all, and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of the life of the state. We are grateful to the governor for his continued support. You can read his entire proclamation on the online digital program that accompanies this event, which you can print or view from the West Virginia Women's Commission Facebook page or website. Our theme for 2021 is Our Past, Present, and Future, and we will feature each of those in today's presentation. You will hear from your legislators and other special guests, be entertained, and have an opportunity after the presentation to take virtual tours and learn more about what you hear today by using the many resource links we have included in the online digital program. We have a fast-paced agenda for you today, so let's get started with Our Past.
Women, women, women.
We are happy to host the Women's History Month kickoff celebration in the spirit of peace, unity, and inspiration. We are here to honor the women that came before us, the women who are making history now, and the women that make history in the future. You will hear from the Office of Minority Affairs Director Jill Upson and Executive Assistant Michelle Petties in just a few minutes. But now, I have the honor to introduce to you our first speaker. As an accomplished competitive horsewoman, business owner, educator, fan of women's basketball, and a darn good cook, this incredible woman continues to be an overall champion for our commission and our state. Please welcome West Virginia's First Lady, Kathy Justice.
It is my pleasure to welcome you to Women's and Girls Day at the Legislature. The theme, Our Past, Present, and Future, reminds me of the rich history that surrounds women in West Virginia. First, the past. There have been many remarkable women born in West Virginia, but one recently comes to mind and to my attention, an author of a book, and her name is Vicki Moon. In 1920, Sylvia Rideout Bishop was born in Charlestown, West Virginia. She went on to become the first Black woman thoroughbred horse trainer in the United States. Sylvia overcame many hardships as a young female at the racetrack, yet her legacy continues to encourage women, still today, to reach beyond what they think is possible and to accomplish goals that were once unattainable. Next, the present. I have watched my daughter Jill grow into her profession as a doctor and a businesswoman. And just like horse training, at one time becoming a doctor was unacceptable and not the career for any woman. Today there are so many wonderful female doctors and business executives balancing work and family. I'm so proud of Jill and all the women that step forward every day to make people's lives a better place to live in healthcare and beyond. And for the future, I look forward to seeing the accomplishments of our young granddaughter, Conley. It is a blessing to know that we live in an incredible state in the greatest country in the world, and that Conley, if she works hard, she can grow up to be anything that she wants to be. I want to encourage not only my granddaughter, but to all the daughters of West Virginia to dream the biggest dreams, stand up for what you believe in, and know that girls from West Virginia can grow up to be incredible, strong, and powerful women. Thank you.
Greetings from the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs on this West Virginia Women's History Month kickoff. I'm Jill Upson, and I'm excited to celebrate with you and the West Virginia Women's Commission, our partner and friend, all month long as we honor women from our past, present, and future. We just heard from an inspiring woman from our present, First Lady Kathy Justice. I want to encourage everyone watching to take some time this month to learn more about West Virginia women and the contributions women have made to our wild and wonderful West Virginia story. Please enjoy all of the events that the Women's Commission has prepared to help us celebrate this month. Thank you for being a part of today's kickoff.
I'm standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me. I am stronger for their courage. I am wiser for their words. I am lifted by their longing for a fair and brighter future. I am grateful for their vision, for their toiling on this earth. We are standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before us. They are saints and they are humans. They are angels, they are friends. We can see beyond the struggles and the troubles and the challenge when we know that by our efforts things will be better in the end. They lift me higher than I could ever fly, carrying my burdens away. I imagine our world if they hadn't tried. We wouldn't be here celebrating today. I am standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me. I am honored by their passion for our liberty. I will stand a little taller, I will work a little longer, and my shoulders will be there to hold the ones who follow me. They lift me higher than I could ever fly, carrying my burdens away. I imagine our world if they hadn't tried. We wouldn't be so very blessed
Today you will hear from 3 recipients of the Legacy of Women Awards hosted by the West Virginia Women's Commission. The first is the recipient of the 2018 Women Making History Award for Lifetime Achievement. Known as the Hat Lady of Fairmont, Geraldine Valar, who goes by Jerry, was also Ms. Senior West Virginia 1995, a member of West Virginia's silver-haired legislature, and a triple threat as a singer, dancer, and actor who still performs as Betsy Ross for schools and women's organizations. Now I'll let her tell you a little more about her incredible life.
I was born December the 28th, 1929, the year of the Great Depression. Women had already been given the right to vote, given the opportunities that they hadn't been given in the past. I was a very active child, and I liked to entertain and sing and dance, and I was given tap dancing lessons. I fashioned myself after Shirley Temple, I think. I was a little show-off, so that was more or less the way that I was able to have happiness in my life. I spent a lot of time with our landlady. Our landlady was a seamstress. She taught me how to sew and led me into theater and things that I did in later life. I graduated from Farmington High School in 1948. I was the artist for the yearbook, participated in plays, made costumes. I was a homeless child, 14 years old, and out on the street. So I asked a friend of mine if I could move in with them. I would clean their house and iron clothes. I lived with them for 2 years, and I moved in with another family and worked on a farm. That was an interesting experience that I had never done before, milking cows and taking care of chickens. And after I graduated high school, I moved back to Fairmont from Farmington, where I got a job at the telephone company as a telephone operator. They had programs and shows that benefited for the United Way and other things, and I was asked to sing and dance, and I did a lot of that one. Fairmont State College picked up on that and saw that I did makeup and invited me to come there to do makeup for the plays, and I would try out for parts. And I participated in Fairmont State College's summer theater, and I was a member of the Highland Avenue United Methodist Church, sang in the choir, and directed plays there, which led into doing things for other churches. A member of the Marion County Historical Society, where I was the vice president and publicity chairman. I was Miss Senior West Virginia in 1995, pageant director on the board of directors at the Three Rivers Festival. I was the Masters of Ceremonies for pageants and Lions Club vice president. And I was in the silver-haired legislature and elected a House Speaker for 1 year, and the next year was elected Senator President Pro Tem for 3 years. I was a soloist at the Clarksburg Italian Festival and participated in parades there. I was a dancer in the String of Pearls dance team in Morgantown. We traveled all over doing shows, and we're even invited to entertain at the White House in Washington, D.C., and also Capitol in Charleston, West Virginia, a part of several of their activities. So I've been very busy through the years, even asked to be a clown at one time at Fairview, getting my children all active in that. And we traveled all over West Virginia, participating in parades and children's activities in schools, and it was an experience that they got to participate in. I have 5 children, 5 grandchildren. So as a part of this March celebration, I hope that I'm at 91 years old, can be an encouragement to other women my age and younger. Hope that this will encourage other people to go on to live their life to the fullest. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jerry. We are so thrilled to have the Hat Lady of Fairmont to be a part of this amazing program today. The Lifetime Achievement Award is definitely fitting for someone as special as you. Now, we are honored to present to you two phenomenal women who have paved the way for other women in politics in West Virginia. They have both made history by being the first. I'm so excited to present to you the first female United States Senator in West Virginia's history, U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, and then you will hear from the first woman elected to the state Senate from Cabell County, who's also the first African American to sit as a member of the West Virginia State Senate, former West Virginia State Senator Marie Redd.
Hi everyone, and thank you for inviting me to help kick off Women's History Month with so many accomplished and up-and-coming leaders in our state. I'm so excited for Women and Girls Day in the state legislature. I sure wish I could be with you there in person. Because of our leaders here today and our state's proud history of women participating in our democracy, women will always have a seat at the table in West Virginia. When I was first elected to the West Virginia House of Delegates in 1996, far less women were involved in politics than they are now. But I didn't let that discourage me. I had been elected to represent my community and fight for the issues important to my constituents. So from the House of Delegates, I was then elected in 2000 to the United States Congress. And in 2014, I became the first woman ever to be elected to the United States Senate from West Virginia. Really proud of that. This distinction is the honor of a lifetime and has given me the chance to serve my state in ways that I never deemed imaginable. But with that honor, I also feel a special obligation to inspire the next generation of female leaders. And that's why I started my West Virginia Girls Rise Up program. I travel around the state when we were traveling, talking to young girls about what it means to be a leader in whatever career or field they love or are passionate about. My hope is that eventually these girls will grow into engaged citizens and leaders. Not only women who vote, but also women who aren't afraid to run for office or run a board meeting or pursue a STEM career or anything else they want to do. I encourage you to get involved in your communities. You're at such a pivotal point in your lives, and this is just the beginning. I encourage you to take that next step in your journey and let me know if there is any way that I can be of help. The opportunities sure are there for you, and I will always be standing in your corner. I may be the first female senator from our state, but I know I am definitely not the last. Have a great day.
Hello, young ladies. I am Marie Redd. I'm the first African American ever elected to the legislature in the history of West Virginia. I come to you today to greet you on behalf of the Women's Commission. They are a viable organization, but one thing I want you to know, in order to attain the level of senator in the state of West Virginia, I had to have extraordinary self-esteem. And that's what I want you all to understand. Don't let anyone discourage you from doing anything. If it's good and you know it's good for you, this is what you should do. I will tell you that the call originally came from my husband for him to run for senator. And I said, I can do that. And I did. And that's the attitude I want you to have. I've had numerous opportunities because of that. One of the bills that I sponsored, you probably still see on the back of vans, children loading and unloading. I was there for you, and I will always be there for you, even though I'm not in office. It's been a pleasure to address you today, and happy New Year to you, and for a happy continued life.
Hello, my name is Eric Wagoner, and I'm the Executive Director of the West Virginia Humanities Council, the state affiliate of the National Endowment for the Humanities. With the help of the NEH, the state of West Virginia, and individual supporters, every year we provide hundreds of programs and educational events in the fields of history, law, language studies, archaeology, folk life and living traditions, and other areas of the humanity throughout West Virginia. On behalf of the Council, I want to welcome you to the 2021 Women's and Girls Day at the West Virginia Legislature. But I really want to begin by thanking you all. Thank you for taking an active interest not only in the matters that concern West Virginians statewide, but in the ways in which responsible governance and leadership can help improve the quality of life of all West Virginians. The history of West Virginia is filled with the stories of women who work to make a difference and push for improvement at all levels of public life. I'm thinking of women like Anna Johnson Gates from East Bank, the first woman ever to become a West Virginia state legislator, being elected to the House of Delegates in 1922, just 3 years after women achieved the right to vote. I'm thinking of Elizabeth Simpson Drury of McDowell County, who in 1950 became the first African-American woman elected to the West Virginia state legislature, and who helped introduce legislation resulting in the 1956 constitutional amendment allowing women to serve on juries in West Virginia. I'm thinking of attorney Virginia Mae Brown of Putnam County, who in 1952 was named West Virginia's Assistant Attorney General, the first woman to hold that position in the state. In 1964, she was appointed to the Interstate Commerce Commission by President Lyndon Johnson. And in 1969, when she was named chair of the ICC, Virginia Mae Brown became the first woman ever to head an independent administrative agency of the federal government. I might also mention Sylvia Mary Matthews Burwell of Hinton, who was sworn in as U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services in 2014, or Judge Elizabeth Virginia Hallinan, who was West Virginia's first female federal court judge, having been appointed by President Ronald Reagan in 1983. Former West Virginia Secretary of State Betty Ireland was a teacher, then a business owner and executive, who became the first woman elected to the executive branch of government in West Virginia. Physician Mildred Mitchell Bateman became the first black woman in West Virginia to hold a high-level state administrative position when, in 1962, she was appointed director of the Department of Mental Health. These are just a few of the women in West Virginia public life who blazed trails, who were innovators and leaders in their respective fields. There are many, many more. Some were the first to hold certain titles or positions, but as you can see, they were not by any means the last. Their lives and their accomplishments are worth studying and worth remembering. And in the same sense, your lives and your potential and your accomplishments are worth investing in. A representative democracy is a complex system and is as vulnerable as any human enterprise to error and unexpected challenges. But at its core is an idea that is both ambitious and humble, that each of us individually has the right to have a say in the workings of government and how legislation and policy impact our lives. And it's that spirit of shared investment that I want most to thank you for. In participating in Women's and Girls' Day at the West Virginia State Legislature, you participate in that noble process. You come to learn, to be more informed, to become more involved in the decisions that impact us all. In that context, your life matters tremendously. You matter. What finally makes the greatest impact is always an individual commitment. We see countless examples of that impact in history, in our families, and in our communities. And today is a reminder that you, too, are part of that story. Today we welcome you, we thank you, and we wish you all the luck you may need on your own journey. From all of us at the West Virginia Humanities Council, the very best to you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Petties. I am the Executive Assistant at the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Doris Fields, who is also known as West Virginia's First Lady of Soul. Not only is she an accomplished singer, director, and playwright, but she is also an outstanding poet. I hope that you enjoy her presentation today.
Hey everybody, I'm Lady D, and I'm so honored to be here with you for the 2021 Women and Girls Day at the Legislature. The music you hear in the background is from my new CD, Disturbing My Peace. But rather than sing today, I decided to read one of the poems from my show, Appalachian Blues Speak. This is for all those fierce women and girls trying to navigate their way through this great big world. It's called Wonder Woman. In 2015, they told me I was a Wonder Woman, a West Virginia Wonder Woman. What the hell does that even mean? I got my picture taken and put in a magazine. They gave me a free lunch and a standing O, but for what exactly, I still don't know. Was it for those 6 years I put all those people on stage, all those that thought they could sing from every color and age, from all around the state they came? Or maybe it was for that time I wrote that song that everybody liked, so they sang along. And everybody said, this here's your big break, because the president liked it and it's good for the state. But that was my 15 minutes of fame. Then everybody forgot my name. Then life just happened because nobody's free, and a dutiful daughter I had to be. But I wouldn't change what was or what had to be, those things that make up a destiny. even when it seemed I had to start back at square one, sometimes with no water, no heat, no car that would run. At the end of the day, when the day was done, I still had this dream of becoming a fortunate one. Ideas and projects and schemes and plans with my nose to the grindstone, making no demands. I kept going. I kept moving with a smile on my face because I had to play the game, you see. I had to try to win the race. Now the race is almost done, and when I look where I stand, I'm still not far from square one. Now a few more people know my name, and some are even glad I came. When they say Lady D, they put some respect on that thing. But this is what I chose to be, from a little girl sitting at my granny's knee. I got to sing in the valley just as loud as I do on the mountaintop, and whether it's a tune you like or not, I just can't make myself stop. Now, I still don't understand this Wonder Woman thing, because all women are a wonder, and in that we're pretty much the same. But I guess what might just set me apart is that nagging feeling in my heart that if I don't do this thing this way, I'll surely die today. If I don't live the dream I've had, no matter how much good or bad, it's my road to navigate. The bumps and detours I've had to take make me look real to the next to the fake. And in the words of Maya Angelou, I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But in my mind and in my deeds, and even in my despair, I will rise. And in my own version of a Wonder Woman.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Lady D's poetry as much as I did. And I would like to thank all of our distinguished guests who joined us for this segment of our program, celebrating Women's History Month. We encourage you to contact us about any activities that celebrate women this month, and we will be happy to share that information on our Facebook page. In fact, did you know that March 24th is Equal Pay Day this year? This means that women who worked in 2020 must work until March 24th this year to make as much as men did in 2020. This represents a $500,000 loss over a lifetime, because on average, women in West Virginia are paid 75% of what men are paid. We would like you to ask your local retailers and restaurants to give women a 25% discount on all products and services on March 24th, and promote that discount to bring awareness to the need for pay equity for all West Virginian citizens. We do this for our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our communities, and ourselves. This is why it is so important for women to have a voice, to be heard, politically, socially, economically, individually, and collectively. We stand in solidarity with other women in the United States and around the world to be equal participants in all walks of life and in all endeavors. Stay with us as we continue our present segment of the 2021 Women's and Girls Day at the Legislature.
Sometimes the hand that rocks the cradle has got to rock the boat. It's a line I remember from the diary Grandma wrote as she rode the train to Washington to stand and speak her mind. She made some waves that brought a change and made a mark in time. We've come a long way, ladies, from no vote in high-button shoes to the Capitol steps and the evening news. From women's wrongs to women's rights, it's a rough and rocky road. We've come a long way, ladies, and we still got a ways to go. Once more those waves of change are moving, from sea to shining sea. Women and men are talking with a new honesty about equal pay for equal work and how no one has to lose.
As we continue with our program, we are now going to shift our focus to the legislative process. During this time of COVID-19, you may not be able to meet with your legislator in person. If you can schedule a meeting, it is important to remember to wear a mask and social distance. Also, consider the following tips when visiting a legislator's office. Introduce yourself. Explain that you are there for in support of Women's and Girls Day at the legislature. Describe your topics of interest, such as a particular bill in the House or Senate, or subject areas like environmental issues, health and family well-being, education, employment, equal pay, and diversity concerns. Explain why it is important to support these type of issues, and close by thanking the legislator or staff member. If you are unable to speak to a legislator or staff member in person, you can ask for an online meeting, schedule a phone call, or send an email or letter to your legislator and include statements like, "Dear legislator," add their title and name. "I'm contacting you to advocate on behalf of the following legislative bills and issues. I would like for you to vote for. I would like you to vote against. Sincerely," then add your name and contact information. If you plan to visit your legislator in person, please take photographs with your legislator and share on social media, tagging those in the photo, the legislator, and the West Virginia Women's Commission. So now that you have an idea of what you need to do in a meeting with your legislators, the next element of the legislative process is to know how a bill is introduced. A bill is an idea for a new law or an idea to change or do away with an existing law. First, a bill is introduced by a member of the House or Senate. Second, the bill is introduced to a committee by the House Speaker or the Senate President. Next, the committee considers the bill. And after the bill is considered, the committee reports the bill to the members of the House or Senate. Then, the bill is read a first time, amended, and then read for a second time. Next, the bill is read a third time, members debate, and then vote on the bill. If passed, the bill is sent to the second chamber where the process repeats, with the Speaker or the President, the committee, and action by the House or Senate. If passed, the bill is signed into law or the bill is vetoed by the governor. As you can see, this is not a simple process. However, we know that this is what is required for a bill to be introduced. It is essential to stay informed on issues and exercise your right to vote. As we know, voting is a component of using your voice and having it heard. And today we are honored to welcome Secretary of State Mac Warner, who will provide some insight on the 50th anniversary of the 26th Amendment.
Hello, I'm West Virginia Secretary of State Mac Warner, and I'd like to thank the West Virginia Women's Commission, the sponsors of today's event, and everyone who's associated with the Women and Girls Day at the Legislature. Last year, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. That is the amendment that recognized the women's right to vote. This year, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the 26th Amendment. That is the amendment that lowered the voting age from 21 to 18. Now, what many people don't recognize is that West Virginia played the critical role in the passage of the 26th Amendment. In 1942, when West Virginia Congressman Jennings Randolph was serving in the U.S. House of Representatives, our country was at war. As the need for more soldiers grew, President Franklin Roosevelt issued an executive order reducing the military draft age from 21 to 18. At that time, West Virginia Congressman Randolph said, "If you're old enough to fight and give your life for your country, then you're old enough to vote." So in 1943, he sponsored legislation to create the 26th Amendment to our Constitution, lowering the voting age to 18. While the amendment wouldn't pass immediately, Randolph never gave up the fight. It would take 29 more years for his amendment to pass. On March 23, 1971, during the height of the Vietnam War, now Senator Randolph again pushed the legislation, and Congress finally passed the 26th Amendment. The legislation was then sent to the states for ratification. West Virginia proudly became one of the first states to ratify the amendment on April 28, 1971, and was quickly followed by state after state. On July 1, 1971, North Carolina became the 38th state to ratify the 26th Amendment, giving the required 3/4 needed for it to become law. Just 4 days later, on July 5th, President Richard Nixon signed the amendment into law. With the stroke of a pen, 11 million citizens were now made eligible to vote. Senator Randolph had the honor of selecting the first 18-year-old to register, Ella Mae Thompson Haddix, a student at Davis and Elkins College, whose brother had been killed in Vietnam, never having had the chance to vote. West Virginia has been the shining example of the 26th Amendment in action. For example, in 2014, Sarah Blair of Berkeley County became the youngest state legislator ever elected in the history of the United States at the age of 18. And in 2018, Caleb Hanna became the youngest Black American ever elected to any state legislature in the history of our country, and he did so at the age of 19. Over the last 4 years, we've registered tens of thousands of 18 to 20-year-olds to vote, an incredible number given the size of West Virginia, and we've encouraged young adults to get involved. Today, there are many young people in the West Virginia legislature leading our state into the future. I want to ask each of you to join in the celebration of the 26th Amendment throughout this year. I challenge you to host a voter registration drive in your community or in your school. In West Virginia, high schools that register at least 85% of their eligible seniors to vote are recognized for their efforts and given the Jennings Randolph Award. For more information on the West Virginia Secretary of State's office celebration of the 50th anniversary of the 26th Amendment, visit our Facebook page or our website at wvsos.gov. That's wvsos.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Warner. I hope every 18-year-old in West Virginia plans to exercise their right to vote in every election. Now, we are fortunate to have West Virginia Senator Glenn Jeffries, who has served the 8th Senatorial District since 2016 and sits on several committees, including Economic Development and Energy, Industry, and Mining. You will also meet Senate Staff Brandy Love O'Brien, who will introduce you to a few other senators. Please welcome Senator Glenn Jeffries.
Hello, I'm Senator Glenn Jeffries. I'm proud to represent Putnam and Kanawha counties in the West Virginia State Senate. It's awesome that you are participating in Women's and Girls Day at the legislature. From wvlegislature.gov, you can watch or listen to committee meetings and the floor session each day. You can find the info there to contact your senator or delegate, or reach out through social media. There is a saying around our Capitol: fat possums run at midnight. That means bills can get passed when folks aren't looking. Keep looking. Did you know that we have not had a woman state senator who is a Democrat since 2008? No matter your party, please consider running for office, or encourage a female friend or family member to run. It doesn't have to be for the legislature. You could run for city council or a county office. We need more women's voices and ideas in our state and local government. You could be one of them. Thank you.
Hello ladies, it's Brandy Love O'Brien, and I'm so sorry that we missed you this year. We really look forward to walking you around and introducing you to people and showing you the different committee rooms and all the fun stuff, but hopefully real soon we'll get to meet again. Right now there's a whole lot of meetings going on and stuff, so I'm not really able to show you the different rooms, but hopefully real soon we can. Hi girls and ladies, this is Senator Lindsay, and he was going to say hi to you. We're so sorry we missed you this year.
Yeah, absolutely, we miss you. Wish you could be here, and I hope you're staying warm somewhere, and if you don't have class, I hope you're enjoying your day. So take care and stay safe.
And here we have Senator Caputo, and he's going to say hi.
Hi ladies, how are you? Sorry you can't make it this year. COVID has made things pretty crazy all across the country, but stay safe. If you need anything, call us, and please take care of your family, and I hope to see you all next year. Hopefully this thing will be all over. Bye.
Don't you love his mask? Now here we have two fine senators. They're going to say hello to you.
Thank you. I like your mask. And so sorry that we can't have Women's Day here at the Capitol, but certainly appreciate all that you do for society, and maybe next year. And look for my bill that's coming out.
All right, thanks. Hi, here we have two more fine senators with us today, and they're going to say hi.
Hello, I'm Senator Patrick Martin, and this is Senator Buck Stover. And I remember from the House you all coming over and spending the day with us, and we really miss you this year. And you know, obviously safety comes first, and just continue to keep doing what you all are doing, and we hope to see you all next year.
And I can't wait to see you all next year. I'm sorry I missed you this year, and keep up the good work.
Hi, it's Brandy again, and I'm so excited to introduce you to one of my favorite people, and that is our long-time, wonderful Senator Boley.
Hi, I'm State Senator Donna Boley. I've been in the Senate since 1985, and I always look forward to meeting you all each year. Because of the COVID this year, we're not going to be able to, so we're looking forward to meeting you next year.
Hi, this is State Senator Robert Carnes, and I just wanted to say we always enjoy when the women and the girls in West Virginia come out and say hi to their legislature and or legislators, and it's we're going to miss you this year, but we hope to see you next year. Thanks.
This is Dave Lavender, one of the doorkeepers in the Senate. We surely missed you this year, but we hope to see you again next year in the Senate chamber. Good luck and stay safe.
Hi, I'm Delegate Caleb Hanna, representing Webster and Nicholas County in the House of Delegates. I just wanted to say how sorry I am that you guys couldn't be at the Capitol this year, but we're down here working extremely hard, trying to do the people's work and be as transparent as possible, and hopefully you'll be back here to join us next year. Hang in there, guys, and God bless.
I am standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before
20
me.
candidates, and my new slogan is 8 is not enough. Now they have their own.
I am lifted by their longing for a fair and brighter future. I am grateful for their vision, for their toiling on this earth. We are standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before us. They are safe.
Once more those waves of change are moving from sea to shining sea. Women and men are talking with a new honesty about equal pay for equal work and how no one has to lose. The doors to the club are opening. God knows we've paid our dues. We've come a long way, ladies. From no voting habit shoes to the Capitol steps and the evening news. From women's wrongs to women's rights, it's a rough and rocky road. We've come a long way, ladies.
Women, women, rock the world. Rock the world, rock women. Susan B. Anthony, Sojourner Truth, Emma Gonzalez and Frank Maya Angelou, Lori Pye, Stuart, Rosa Parks, Malala, Frida Kahlo, Misty Copeland, Helen Keller, Katherine Johnson, Lily Ledbetter, Wu Yi,
Meredith Hartery, President of West Virginia Now, here to tell you a little bit about our 2021 legislative priorities. We think that one of the best ways to invest in West Virginia's future is through affordable and quality childcare for every family in the state. In that, we've been working with the statewide coalition on legislation concerning business-critical subsidies for childcare facilities. We're also happy to be working with Delegates Walker and Young on the Caregivers as Candidates bill. This bill would allow campaign funds to be used for caregiving campaign expenses and bring down another barrier in running for political office. We're also happy to be supporting Delegate Fleischhauer and Senator Beach in the reintroduction of the Katherine Johnson Fair Pay Act. This would prohibit employers from using wage history in hiring decisions and also allow employees to freely discuss their wages and benefits. We're also proud to be supporting Delegate Danielle Walker in the reintroduction of the Crown Act. This adds language to the West Virginia Human Rights Act that would then prohibit any discrimination based on traits commonly associated with race, such as hairstyle and hair texture. If you'd like to work with us on any of these issues, please reach out to us at westvirginianow@gmail.com or find us on Facebook. Thanks.
In addition to letting your legislators know where you stand on upcoming legislation, such as what Meredith just shared with us, you can use your voice to impact your life and the life of others in many ways. You can do this by becoming a candidate for an elected position, by joining or starting an organization where you can use your voice to inspire change and empower others. You can become a member of a board or commission that develops policy, like the West Virginia Women's Commission, among others. Using your voice to make an impact is important because we live in a world where we can be judged by what we say, as well as our gender, the color of our skin, the clothes we wear, and our personal beliefs. Trust your true voice and make that voice heard. You have to know that what you have to say is of value. Speak your truth and don't dismiss your inner voice. You must be yourself. Develop courage by standing up for others. Never be afraid to stand alone or ask for help. Be vigilant about not losing your voice and help others do the same. The first female Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, said, "It took me quite a long time to develop a voice, and now that I have it, I'm not going to be silent." Now, I am honored to introduce two women who are members of the West Virginia House of Delegates. Delegate Amy Summers has served House District 49 since 2014 and became the first woman majority leader of the West Virginia House of Delegates in 2018. Delegate Danielle Walker will provide our keynote remarks today and is a community activist who proudly and boldly uses her voice to take a stand for the voiceless and fights for justice. She has served the 51st House District since 2018. Please welcome Delegate Amy Summers, followed by Delegate Danielle Walker.
Hi, my name's Amy Summers, and I am the West Virginia House of Delegates Majority Leader. A fun fact is that I am the first woman to hold this title in West Virginia. I am a nurse in the emergency department, and I love to care for people. So naturally, I enjoy taking care of people in my state as well. As the Majority Leader, I serve on the leadership team to manage all business that comes before the House of Delegates. During our 60-day session, I meet with the governor and other people and leaders who are interested in state laws. I also am in charge of leading the floor sessions, which is why I'm called the Majority Leader. I hope you know that as girls and women, we are capable of doing anything we set our minds to. Good luck to you in all your future endeavors, and please stop by the West Virginia Capitol to see me when you're in Charleston.
Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you celebrating Women's and Girls Day, past, present, and future. I want to give a big thank you to each and every person who has orchestrated, organized, and mobilized us to be with you virtually today. So let's talk about past, present, and future. I am Delegate Danielle Walker, and it is very hard for me to come to you virtually because this is the event that I look up to and I look forward to each and every year. You are the future leaders. You are our advocates and our activists. I am so delighted and I'm so humbly honored for all the folks who have came before us. We must learn what our past has taught us. We must hold it close and near and dear to our heart as we stand today in the present, because each and every one of you are our future. I hold the torch now, the torch of hope, the torch of strength, the torch of motivation, so it can be handed to each and every one of you as it was given to me. We must fight for our right to unite. This is not the year of division. This is a year of unity. This is the year of solidarity. This is the year of see something, say something, and follow through. And there are so many different actions that we can do to follow through. You being here and listening to here, I want to bring something very special to you. What moved me in 2017 may not move you today. So let's talk about what moves you. Evaluate yourself. Evaluate your community. Evaluate your home or your school. Evaluate our state. And make a list. It doesn't have to be anything physical. It could be something that just lays heavy on your heart and in your mind. And I want you to get energized about whatever moves you. We must learn how to motivate self. We must be very vulnerable and step out and be uncomfortable for a moment to be part of a movement of change. I fight each and every day. I take a stand in many different ways because I fight for West Virginians to stay. I fight so we can rebuild the bridges that no longer exist. And I fight for you to succeed. So we educate ourselves on these issues. There are so many organizations in our great mountain state. Almost Heaven, West Virginia. We are mountaineers. We are free, but most of all, we are resilient. We will make a way out of no way. We lean on our neighbors and we respect them. I see you. I respect you. I love you is embedded in each and every one of us. We have lost the rhetoric of pull yourself up by your bootstraps because we must remember some of us are still barefooting. No one wants to be given a pair of boots. We want to be given an opportunity to buy our own. This is how we give a hand up to each and every person. So will your movement move? We always look at numbers and we always want instant gratification. But if your movement stops one person to listen, if your movement is only you, and you are dedicated and you are grounded in what you believe in, people will stop, listen, and learn. So elevate your voices. Write opinion editorials. Contact your legislators. Go to your local government meetings. They're on Zoom. Talk to your principal if there's something in your schools that you feel that you want to change of. See, I don't look at you as young people. I look at you as trendsetters. I look at each and every one of you, not by your gender, but by your generosity. I don't look at you by your GPA. I look at you with your creativity. And I want you to empower. You could empower many people by just smiling. You can bring power to your movement by being inclusive, by diversifying the people that you are comfortable in speaking to, by being uncomfortable. You can empower this whole state because we are one, and this is us. Now, your movement will need blood, sweat, and tears. The same blood, sweat, and tears that is embodied in each and every one of us. We must not forget Mother Jones. We must not forget Dorothy Vaughan. We must not forget Katherine Johnson. We must not forget former delegate and Mayor Charlene Marshall. We must not forget Misha Poore. We must not forget Senator Capito. I am a proud West Virginian. I am a proud American. I am Black. I am a woman. My pronouns are she and her. Together, I am only me. But with us and them, and get rid of the mentality of us versus them, we are great when we stand. One voice, one sound. So I thank each and every one of you for participating today. And I leave you with this. Words without works are a waste. And for those of you who are participating today, you are not a waste. You were never a waste. You will never be a waste because you are mountaineers. One love.
Wow, what a way to wrap up the legislative education component for our program. Thank you to all of our distinguished speakers for this segment. We hope you were enlightened by the words that were spoken and the information that was provided. Again, please be sure to refer to the educational resources that are available in our Women's and Girls Day online digital program for your review. And now it's time for our third and final segment, Our Future, which is insightful, powerful, and inspirational. Stick around because we know you will not want to miss this.
The power feminine gives birth to us all. Every one of us, every one of us. Her essence divine nurtures every mind, body, and soul. With purpose, love, and trust. Purpose, love, and trust. Love, and trust. Oh, my sisters, lucky are we to come to earth as an incredible ship. Women, women, women rock the world. Women, women, women rock the world. My mama, your mama, aunts and grandmothers too. Me and you and you and you and you and you.
Welcome to our last segment of the day, Our Future. The most profound change in American politics today and in the years to come will result from a massive movement of women. It is a known fact that women and girls are agents of change, and so we must encourage, empower, and support women and girls in becoming strong political and community leaders. One thing many successful people have in common is that they understand the importance of short-term and long-term goals. It is why we have included the online digital program. It is a one-page personal civic action plan to help you and your organization develop goals for the next 1 to 5 years. You will be asked to list your strengths, skills, and knowledge, the community issues that interest you the most, your proposed action, who you need to contact or get help from, and what your expected outcome is. You might find it easier to start in a group setting the first time you attempt to fill the form out to allow others to share their ideas with you, which can help in guiding your proposed actions. We would love to get feedback from you about your action plans and hear about your continuing progress. Now, I am excited to introduce to you a woman who has reached many of her goals. Our next speaker was a player for the Women's National Basketball Association for 11 years. She won the National Collegiate Championship with the UConn Huskies and the WNBA Championship with the Minnesota Lynx. She currently is a studio analyst on Atlanta Hawks broadcast for Fox Sports Southeast, and she is included in the 2021 Time Magazine's 100 Next Leader list. She recently launched the Remotely Renee podcast that includes sports, entertainment, and social justice activism. Please welcome the recipient of the Sports Champion Award given during West Virginia Women's Commission 2018 Legacy of Women Awards, Renee Montgomery.
What's up, everybody? I'm Renee Montgomery. I'm the South Charleston High School class of 2005. I graduated UConn in 2009, and I had an 11-year career in the WNBA. And look, everybody knows that I'm proud of West Virginia. I say it all the time. I put 304. I rep West Virginia hard, so I was excited to be a part of the Democracy and Social Justice Forum that we had earlier this month. And I'm just excited to be involved with this. I mean, I love West Virginia. My family is still there. And speaking of my family, I have a podcast called Remotely Renee. And on that podcast, we talk about sports and business and just anything going on, hot topics in the world. We release every Tuesday. It's me, myself, hosting it, and my co-hosts are my mom, Bertleah Montgomery, my sister, Nicole Young, and my manager, Paul Garino. And it's a fun show. We talk about West Virginia roots, things that happen in West Virginia. We talked about West Virginia State, and it releases on Tuesdays, but on Thursdays, we release full interviews of just friends of the show, friends that I know. We had Mayor Pete Buttigieg on. We had the Queen of Democracy, Stacey Abrams on, Vivica Fox, Ray Allen, Mike Evans, recent Super Bowl champ. Check it out, remotelyrenee.com, and it's just a way for us to connect while being remote, because we know that these times have been difficult for people. I haven't been able to see my family like I would want to, but every week I get to tap in with them and connect with them and see what's going on in their world. So I want you guys to tap in with us and see what's going on in our world. I want to be more connected to West Virginia. It's my roots, it's my home, and I'm excited for this event. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Women, women, women rock the world.
Good afternoon. My name is Kenyatta Grant. I am the Community Organizing Coordinator at the West Virginia Coalition Against Domestic Violence. I'm also a commissioner with the West Virginia Women's Commission, and I'm also the interim chair. We are so delighted that you are able to spend some time with us for Women's and Girls Day for this third segment of some dynamic and phenomenal women who are going to share with us their story and their journey in regards to how they've arrived to the position where they are, and to give some excellent feedback to help you in your growth and your development. So we have joining us today, we have Wheeling City Council member Rosemary Ketchum. We also have joining us today is Liz Brunello, who is a youth program organizer. And we have also Takaya Smith, who is a youth and racial justice organizer. So we're going to take a few minutes and just ask some questions and get to know these phenomenal women who actually were able to join us today to kind of get a peek in terms of some insight where they can kind of help in terms of provide some helpful information. So we'll start with Rosemary Ketchum. So our first question is, why do you do what you do?
Well, thank you so much, Kenyatta. I'm so grateful to be here and so thankful for the work of the West Virginia Women's Commission. That's a great question. I have always loved the work of public service without really even knowing what that meant. I am a member of our Wheeling City Council here in the city of Wheeling. I also work in public health as a youth program coordinator. And I think I do the work because I realize how impactful a single supportive adult can be in a child's life. And also I realize how critical it is that the work in public health is reflected in our government. Unfortunately, too often that's not the case. So I think those are some of the reasons why I love the work I do.
That is such a wonderful answer. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to get some more dialogue, but I want to get to know a little bit more with Liz Brunello in terms of just to kind of hear your journey in terms of like, why do you do what you do?
Thanks, Kenyatta, and thanks again to the West Virginia Women's Commission. My name is Liz, and I work with the American Friends Service Committee. I've been with the Friends for going on 6 years now. I'm actually not from West Virginia. I moved here about almost 8 years ago from Florida. So I came here as kind of, a little bit spontaneous. I came here as an AmeriCorps Vista. I knew that I wanted to work somehow with young people, and I knew that I wanted to kind of devote my life to community service in some way. So that was kind of the general spirit of why I came to West Virginia and why I kind of fell in love with the work here and just a lot about this state. And then I found this job where I was able to be a mentor, a caring adult with young people. I work with teenagers in Boone and Logan counties in Southern West Virginia. And I really found that was kind of my why, my passion, that I loved being somebody who could kind of walk alongside a young person, not like tell them this is what you need to do with your life, but to say like, I see so many like wonderful things in you, so much leadership potential, and just kind of be a supportive, mentor while young people found their passions, their voice, and step into their power. And I have seen, we've all seen, especially this year, but it's always true that youth lead the way. We'll never transform our communities unless we are supporting young people to step up and lead the types of movements that we need to transform our communities in a more just way. So that's my why.
That is an excellent why. I wrote down step into your power. I really like that. I think that is very dynamic, and I think that is very telling and very a timely message for this next generation. Step into your power. I love that. Thank you, Liz, so much. Takaya, so why do you do what you do?
Thank you, Kenyatta. Yeah, it's always inspiring hearing why other people do what they do. So I do what I do to ultimately make West Virginia a better place for all people to live. We know that the Black population here is very small. And so often there are not people who are going out of their way to prioritize the needs of the Black community. And I really wanted to dedicate like my work and my service to changing that, because we know that all communities, including the Black community, deserves, you know, the ability to thrive and dignity and respect. And so I think it's just really important that we create spaces where all kinds can feel appreciated and like their home is somewhere that they want to be and that they have pride in. So I am always working with young people through the lens that I grew up in and looking at, you know, this is what I feel like I lacked or what I feel like could have been helpful. And the great part about, I think, you know, what I'm able to do is also, you know, getting to ask them what they feel is best for our state based on what they need. And so I get to, you know, have my personal experiences that I use to relate, but also constantly getting insight. So I'm working to make this place in this state a better home for people who look like myself. And I think when it's, you know, the more inclusive we make this state, the better it is for all.
Wow. I tell you what, this, after hearing all three of you, just in terms of hearing why do you do what you do, it is confirmed that we got the best three people that we could possibly get in order to make sure the people who are listening are going to leave inspired, because just hearing why you do what you do really brings out I saw passion and I see a lot of commitment and dedication. So I want to thank you all for that. Leading into the next day, I want to talk about a lot of the things that you mentioned. I noticed that you all were all kind of involved in some kind of youth program coordination or organizing. And I just want to ask, in terms of what do you think is helpful in terms of leadership? Like what kind of leadership traits do you feel like that you've either enhanced or you felt like you had to develop in the position that you're in right now? And we can go back to Rosemary. We'll just kind of cycle it out. So Rosemary, would you like to share some of that?
For sure. I think honing our leadership skills and leadership traits are, is some of the most important work that we can do. I've been on a lot of boards and part of organizations, and I've seen leaders of all kinds, great leaders and some not so great. And I've tried to take a little bit from every experience that I've had. And I think that as women, it's a particularly complex landscape, right? Being a leader and taking on, positions of authority. And one of my favorite authors is Brene Brown, and she does a lot of incredible work around mental health. I have a background in mental health, so I do connect to that. And she doesn't necessarily talk about this in the concept of leadership, but in some way it's relevant. But she talks about vulnerability and how incredibly important it is for people who are in positions of power, whether that is a boss or a leader of an organization or a person in politics, how important it is to remain vulnerable. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, women in leadership positions feel they have to always be the strongest, smartest, most secure person in the room, or else that kind of imposter syndrome pops in. And I think the opposite can actually be true. And of course, there's all kinds of misogyny and sexism latent in our culture. But I really found the concept of vulnerability to be one of the most effective leadership traits, and one of the most, I think, admirable in the leaders that I've seen.
Oh, thank you so much for that. You kind of led into another conversation that I'll get to in a second in terms of some challenges and barriers being women. So you kind of touched upon that. So we'll definitely revisit what you just said, Rosemary. I think that was an excellent response. Thank you so much. Liz, what do you think in terms of leadership traits? What are some things that you kind of hone in on in terms of being in the position that you're in terms of leadership?
Well, I will have to echo Rosemary. One of my first thoughts was this concept that Brene Brown has about being in the arena, so to speak, being a leader who's like not content to just kind of keep the status quo when you're really invested in whatever, system you're working in, whatever field, and you want to see improvements, you want to shake things up and change things, you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to grow more comfortable with potentially making mistakes. And along the way, you really, I don't know if this is technically like a trait, but I feel like it should be, or it can be, find your people and find like a mentor or more mentors so that you don't feel alone. Because the worst feeling is really when, you have these new ideas as a young person, as a young woman, you're facing the things that Rosemary mentioned of, this latent sexism and kind of an overall, I think, cultural kind of eroding of self-trust. I feel like we live in a culture where we don't necessarily all grow up really trusting ourselves, trusting our instincts, especially as women. So it's going to be isolating. It's going to be kind of scary at times. And I think that the road to burnout and to kind of giving up and getting stuck is when you feel too isolated. So looking for connections with people, like knowing you are not the only one who wants to make things better. You never are. It can feel like it, but you really actually never are. So I think approaching your work like based on relationships and keeping those strong relationships with other people who are share those kind of like risk-taking values that you do.
Absolutely. I can't say I totally understand exactly what you're talking about. That was very powerful. Thank you so much, Liz, for sharing that. Takaya, for you, in terms of the work that you do, what kind of leadership skills do you find that is very helpful in terms of your success in your position? What are some leadership traits that have helped you?
I think leadership qualities that have been extremely helpful to me is my ability to be vulnerable and my willingness to be challenged. And that's what I look for in young leaders that we develop. It takes a certain willingness, to know that you may try something that's really difficult and you don't always win. But there's a learning process in it all. And so you have to, make yourself vulnerable because, in the work of social action or advocacy or social change, there are no formulas or guarantees. And so you have to make yourself vulnerable enough to pick up something that can feel really heavy, and make yourself also vulnerable enough to collaborate with people so you don't carry that burden entirely yourself, and do really hard work and or challenging work to go towards the goals to make something better. And that requires creativity, and thoughtfulness and research and action. And so, yeah, I'm always looking, for myself, to be vulnerable enough to take the risk, and be open enough to still go forward after, there are challenges. And I think that's something that's always going to make a leader stronger.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And I'm being mindful of the time. So I want to quickly kind of ask you all in terms of the leadership and the traits that you've either developed or enhanced in your position. Are there any kind of projects that you are kind of heading up to where you would like to inform the participants today that you would really like to share in terms of some special projects? So Rosemary, is there anything in particular that you would like to just kind of plug in terms of some projects that you're working on?
Absolutely. Thank you, Kenyatta. I have a background in mental health, but I just started a new position as Chief Operations Officer of a really cool program here in the city of Wheeling called Edible Mountain. And the concept is we are working to really build skills in resilience for our urban core in the city of Wheeling, which is about 1,000 kids. We are really taking a lot of information from an Icelandic youth wellness model called Planet Youth. I highly suggest that folks look into that. And I'm incredibly excited to really dive into the confluence of mental health and food security, while also talking about a sense of belonging, which is unfortunately something that I think a lot of rural communities are dealing with. So that's a new project for me, and I'm super excited. And if anybody's interested in learning more, feel free to reach out.
Wonderful. Thank you. Liz, how about you? Are there any projects that you would like to let everyone know about?
There's always so many projects. As kind of a youth mentor, we in this state, we end up being a part of a lot of different types of coalitions, like issue-based, especially depending on, what our young people are most interested in. So a few that are most active and kind of seem to be like ongoing themes are around anti-hunger work. Child hunger is a huge problem in our state. Always around mental health and more support for mental health for students in schools. And kind of this larger work of education equity work and juvenile justice work. And Takaya is an amazing, strong leader leading those two. So I'll hand it to Takaya.
That's a good segue. Takaya, you're up.
Thank you, Liz, and try to match your amazingness. So yes, we have the Young West Virginia Power Building Movement, and we have two main things right now, which is Young WV Vote Together. We had a collaborative effort with about 7 different colleges last election cycle, doing electoral work. And that work does not stop after the election is over. Young people right now, we have our leaders organizing on their campuses to increase voter accessibility and engagement for the long haul. So there are so many barriers young people face to voting, and young people themselves, they're taking it into their own hands through Young WV Vote Together, to address those barriers and to help increase the youth voter turnout in West Virginia. And then we also have our ongoing and upcoming Better Schools for All WV. And people can get involved with that. That is primarily to address the school to prison pipeline through student leadership. And so, yeah, any of that, I am so open to people. If you have any young people that, are passionate about racial justice, social justice, please, don't hesitate to reach out. And Takaya at ourfuturewv.org is my email.
Thank you for providing your contact information, because I think that this is definitely something that there might be a lot of people who may be interested, especially after everything that has happened. I think that is a really good thing to focus on. So I'm noticing that we're running out of time, and I want to just say, first and foremost, thank you all so much for giving us a little bit of your time to share with the participants of Women's and Girls Day, this third segment. We wanted to lead with future in terms of what the future is going to look like, what we like to see it look like. And you three were just examples that they can definitely live by. So I really want to thank you all. And I apologize that we ran out of time, but I think that this is something that we could look forward to doing maybe a part 2 in the future, because you all were absolutely phenomenal. So thank you all very much. The Women's Commission thanks you and just appreciates everything that you're doing to make West Virginia a better state. So thank you all very much.
I am so glad we have young women in West Virginia like our panelists working with our youth and families to create a brighter future for all of us. And if you want to hear more from our panelists, you're in luck. As you heard Kenyatta mention at the end of their discussion, this amazing conversation did continue, and you can view part 2 on the West Virginia Women's Commission's Facebook page and website. After the event, please consider completing the evaluation form included in the online digital program and on our website. Your feedback gives us an opportunity to inform this year's sponsors how the presentation was received and to share that information when submitting applications for future grants. If you would like to show your support for future events, such as today's Women and Girls Day at the Legislature, you can make a tax-deductible donation directly on the West Virginia Women's Commission secure website. The web address is included in the online digital program and will appear on the last graphic of this presentation. We thank you in advance for your consideration and your support. Together, we can ensure that all women and girls in West Virginia reach their full potential. Since the pandemic has prevented us from being at the Capitol this year to meet with our legislators face-to-face, we have a few more of them who wanted to say hello to you. We're pleased to share greetings from Delegate Barbara Fleschhauer, representing Monongalia County in District 51, Delegate Sean Hornbuckle, representing Cabell County in District 16, and Delegate Mike Pushkin, representing Kanawha County in District 37. Thank you so much for taking your time to support Women and Girls Day at the Legislature, delegates. We appreciate you.
Hello, my name is Barbara Evans Fleischauer, and I want to thank you for participating in the West Virginia Women and Girls Day at the state legislature. I am a proud longtime member of the House of Delegates, and I want to encourage all of you to stand up against inequality and to speak for yourself. One of the first times I stood up was when I ran for student council president. I was the first girl, I think, to run, and I was also the first girl to win, so you can do it too. Please help make our state better and run for office when you're ready, and make sure you stand up for women. We do face discrimination. I've faced discrimination, and I don't want that to happen to you. If we work together, we can have a more equal world.
Hello, my name is Sean Hornbuckle, representative of the 16th District in Cabell and Lincoln counties. We want to welcome you to our capital, and even though you're not able to be here today as we celebrate Women and Girls Day, I want to encourage you to be all that you can be. Whether you're striving to be somebody like Anna Jarvis from West Virginia, who created Mother's Day, or Pearl S. Buck, who was the first lady to win a Nobel Prize for Literature, or even Harriet Jones, she was state legislature and also the first female physician in our state. Or maybe you could be a courageous athlete. Mary Lou Retton, Lexis Hornbuckle, Renee Montgomery, who knows? Or even maybe the most famous West Virginian, Katherine Johnson, who was a part of a NASA team that helped to beat the Soviet Union. I want to make sure that you know that you can be anything that you want to be. And with your reaching out to our legislature, you too may one day be the first female governor that we ever have. So good luck to you and enjoy your day.
Hi, I'm Mike Pushkin. I have the honor of representing the 37th District in the West Virginia House of Delegates, and I just want to take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you to Women's and Girls Day here at your West Virginia State Capitol. Wish everybody could be here in person. Unfortunately, we're doing this virtually, but I look forward to seeing and hearing from all of you. It's really a good time to take this opportunity to reach out to all of your delegates and senators, call them about issues that are important to you. I think it's way past time that we pass the Fair Pay Act here in West Virginia. And I think everybody needs to consider running for office because we need more women in the legislature.
As we end the 2021 Women's and Girls Day at the Legislature, we thank you for being with us today and would like to thank all of our special guests for taking time to join us. We hope you have enjoyed your experience and take back what you have heard today to your schools and others in your communities. Take advantage of the information in the digital program where you will also see our champion event sponsor, Ellen Bullock, along with a complete list of people and organizations whose generosity, time, and talents made this presentation possible today. Please support them if given an opportunity. Remember to vote in every election and find ways to connect with your West Virginia neighbors through kind and meaningful conversations. We each wish you the very best and much success in 2021. Thank you.